Welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to delve into something that will completely blow your mind. It's not every day that you come across a coin worth a fortune, but that's exactly what we're about to talk about. This isn't just any coin, it's a coin that could make you a millionaire or, at the very least, give you a glimpse into what extreme value really means when it comes to numismatics. Have you ever wondered how much some of the rarest and most valuable coins in history are worth? Well, stick around because today, we are going to explore one specific coin, the 1986 D-Quarter Dollar, which has an incredible story behind it. You might be wondering, what makes a coin like this so special? Well, stay tuned, because what you're about to learn will give you a whole new perspective on rare collectibles. Let's start at the beginning. The 1986 D-Quarter Dollar was minted in Denver, Colorado. Normally, a quarter is worth exactly 25 cents, and when you think of coins that are in circulation, you probably don't think much of them beyond their everyday value. But what if I told you that the 1986 D-Quarter, in particular, is not just any regular quarter? This coin is a prime example of how a minor mistake in production can lead to a major financial discovery. You see, in the world of coin collecting, it's not just about how old a coin is. Sometimes, it's about subtle errors or misprints that make certain coins incredibly rare and, in some cases, extremely valuable. Let's talk about the specifics. Normally, the Denver Mint produces millions of quarters, and the 1986 D-Quarter was part of a regular production run. However, due to a very small and almost imperceptible flaw in the minting process, a handful of these quarters ended up with a unique characteristic. It was a mistake that no one saw coming, and it wasn't until years later that the full significance of this coin was realized. It wasn't until the late 2000s that collectors and experts began to take notice of this particular coin's rarity. So what happened? What made the 1986 D-Quarter Dollar go from a regular quarter to something worth millions? In essence, the minting error that occurred was related to the coin's appearance. There was an issue with the way the dies were used during the coin's production, leading to subtle, but important, imperfections in the design. These imperfections were initially overlooked, but as time passed, savvy collectors started to take notice. These minor flaws weren't just random, they were actually a sign of something much bigger. The die used to mint these quarters was damaged, leading to slight misalignments and variations in the details. That's what made these coins special. At first, the value of these coins was hardly anything to get excited about. But as coin collectors delved deeper into the history of the 1986 D-Quarter, the true value started to surface. Here's the part that will really get your attention. Despite the fact that this coin was produced in mass numbers, only a small number of them were impacted by the minting error. This is where the rarity comes in. Collectors began to search through their change, hoping to find one of these rare, error-ridden quarters. And guess what? Some of them succeeded. These lucky collectors discovered coins with unique characteristics that set them apart from all the others. As news of the rare 1986 D-Quarter spread, its value skyrocketed. Coins that were originally worth just 25 cents were suddenly being sold for thousands of dollars. But the real surprise came when some of the rarer versions of the coin, those with the most significant minting errors, started selling for extraordinary amounts, up to $422 million. Now, how in the world could a coin like this be worth that much? It all comes down to demand and rarity. When something is in short supply, its value tends to increase. And with the 1986 D-Quarter Dollar, there were only a few that had the particular flaw that made them so valuable. Experts and collectors immediately recognized that this was not just another rare coin. It was an anomaly in the world of numismatics, something that simply doesn't happen often. The idea that a coin produced in such large numbers could suddenly be worth millions of dollars caught the attention of not just collectors but investors, auction houses, and even museums. The frenzy around the 1986 D-Quarter has sparked interest in rare coin collecting like never before. Imagine holding something in your hand that is worth more than a house, more than a luxury car, more than most people's lifetime earnings. For coin collectors, the idea of finding something like the 1986 D-Quarter is the holy grail. But here's the thing, it's not just about finding the coin. It's about understanding the significance of the error, the history behind it, and the impact it has on the numismatic world. The story of this coin isn't just about a mistake, it's about how a small flaw turned into an unbelievable fortune. But how does a coin like this even end up being worth such an astronomical amount? Well, for starters, it's important to understand the market for rare coins. Coin collecting is an art, and it's not just about how many coins are in circulation or how old they are. It's also about the story each coin tells. Some coins become valuable because they have historical significance, others because they were part of a limited run, and still others because they were simply made with rare and imperfect designs. In the case of the 1986 D-Quarter, it was the combination of rarity and the unique era that made it stand out from the crowd. Another important factor is the grading system. When it comes to rare coins, grading is everything. Coins are graded based on their condition, with the highest grades fetching the highest prices. In the case of the 1986 D-Quarter, those with the most significant minting flaws and in the best condition are the ones that fetch the highest prices. Collectors are always on the lookout for coins that have been well preserved, as this can greatly increase their value. The 1986 D-Quarter is no exception. Over the years, some of these coins have been certified and graded by professional numismatists, and that's when the value really started to skyrocket. So, why is this story so important? Well, it's a perfect example of how something as simple as a coin can have such a powerful impact. The 1986 D-Quarter isn't just a piece of currency, it's a symbol of the incredible value that can exist in the most unexpected places. It's a reminder that, in the world of collectibles, even the smallest error can lead to a treasure. And for those who are lucky enough to come across one of these rare quarters, it can mean financial freedom, or at least a nice little windfall. If you've been thinking about starting your own coin collection, this is a great reminder that rarity is key. In the world of numismatics, you're looking for those hidden gems, coins that might not seem valuable at first, but could, over time, become something much more. The 1986 D-Quarter dollar is just one example of how rare coins can become legendary in the collecting world. But there are many others out there, waiting to be discovered. The beauty of coin collecting is that there's always something new to find, always a new piece of history to uncover, and the best part? It doesn't matter if you're new to collecting or have been doing it for years. There's always a chance that the next coin you stumble upon could be worth more than you ever imagined. Whether it's a rare quarter, a misprinted penny, or a coin with a unique historical background, the thrill of discovery is what makes coin collecting so exciting. So, if you're just getting started or have been collecting for years, keep your eyes peeled for those rare coins. You never know what you might find. In the end, the story of the 1986 D-Quarter dollar is a testament to the world of coin collecting. It shows how an error in minting, once overlooked, can turn into one of the most valuable coins in history. It's a story that highlights the importance of paying attention to the details and understanding what makes certain coins so valuable. And it's a reminder that sometimes, the most valuable things in life are the ones that are hardest to find. So, if you're out there searching for rare coins, remember, you might just be holding onto a future fortune. Thank you for tuning into today's video. If you enjoyed learning about the 1986 D-Quarter dollar and the incredible story behind it, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Also, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our future content about rare coins, valuable collectibles, and much more. Who knows? The next video could be the one that helps you discover your own hidden treasure. Stay curious, keep collecting, and I'll see you in the next one. Next, we're diving deep into one of the most mind-blowing pieces of coin history, the 1981 D-Quarter dollar. If you haven't already guessed, it's not your typical pocket change. We're talking about a coin that is now worth a jaw-dropping $259 million. That's right, $259 million. You're probably wondering how something as seemingly insignificant as a quarter could ever reach such a remarkable value, but stay tuned, and we'll walk you through everything you need to know about this rare and historically significant piece of currency. Let's start from the very beginning. The year was 1981, and the United States Mint was busy producing a wide variety of coins for circulation. At that time, the Mint had been churning out standard designs for coins for decades, so nothing about the quarters being produced that year stood out as anything special. These were just regular, everyday quarters that would find their way into people's pockets, vending machines, and laundry rooms across the country. But little did anyone know, the 1981 AD quarter dollar would become one of the most valuable coins in American history. To understand how this happened, we need to dig into the details surrounding the production of this particular coin. The 1981 AD quarter was minted in Denver, as indicated by this deed's mint mark. In terms of design, it was nothing more than a regular quarter featuring George Washington on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse. Nothing about its appearance made it stand out. It was just another routine coin produced for circulation. But there was one minor error that would go unnoticed by many at the time, and that tiny mistake would later propel this quarter into the history books. As with any coin produced by the US Mint, there is always a margin of error in the manufacturing process. The US Mint uses highly sophisticated machinery to strike coins, but occasionally, human error, machine malfunction, or other unforeseen factors can lead to a coin being minted incorrectly. While most of these errors are minor and go unnoticed, some are so significant that they end up becoming highly sought after by collectors. In the case of the 1981 AD quarter, the error was relatively subtle, but it had a huge impact on the coin's value. The error occurred in the striking process, where the die that was used to stamp the coin onto the metal planchet was not aligned properly. As a result, the final coin had a slight but noticeable flaw that made it different from other quarters minted that year. At first glance, it might seem like just a regular coin, but upon closer inspection, it became clear that something was off. This error wasn't immediately apparent to most people, and for many years, the 1981 AD quarter was just another coin circulating in the economy. However, as time went on, coin collectors began to notice this small but significant flaw. Word spread through the numismatic community that there was a rare version of the 1981 AD quarter with a striking error, and people started searching for these elusive coins. At first, these coins were only worth a little more than face value, but as collectors started to realize how rare they were, the value began to climb. Coin enthusiasts and collectors began hoarding these rare quarters, hoping that their value would continue to rise over time. Little did they know, they were holding onto something much more valuable than anyone could have imagined. The first major breakthrough came when an anonymous collector submitted one of these rare 1981 AD quarters to a prominent grading service for certification. The coin was graded and authenticated as an error coin, and the value of the coin skyrocketed. Suddenly, the 1981 AD quarter went from being worth a few dollars to being worth thousands. As word spread, more collectors began seeking out these rare quarters, and the price continued to rise, but things didn't stop there. A few years later, another breakthrough moment occurred that would forever change the value of the 1981 AD quarter. A coin expert, while doing research on rare coins, discovered that a small number of these error coins had somehow made their way into the hands of the general public without being properly removed from circulation. This discovery was groundbreaking because it meant that there were a finite number of these coins in existence. The supply was limited, which made the coin even more desirable. As more and more of these error coins were found and authenticated, their value began to skyrocket. The rarity of the coin, combined with the historical significance of the error, made it one of the most sought-after collectibles in the numismatic world. In fact, it wasn't long before the 1981 AD quarter began to attract attention from high-profile investors, who saw the coin as a way to make a substantial profit. The coin's value surged, and it eventually reached an astounding $259 million. So, how did this particular coin go from being worth just a few dollars to a staggering $259 million? The answer lies in the combination of rarity, historical significance, and the immense demand from collectors and investors alike. Over the years, the 1981 AD quarter became a symbol of the world of numismatics, representing the incredible value that even the smallest mistakes can hold in the world of coin collecting. What makes the 1981 AD quarter even more fascinating is that it's not just valuable because of its rarity, it's valuable because of the story behind it. The idea that a simple mistake made during the minting process could lead to such an astronomical increase in value is a testament to the world of coin collecting and the passion that collectors have for rare items. It's a reminder that sometimes, the things we overlook or take for granted can end up being worth more than we could ever imagine. Now, you might be wondering why this coin is so special. After all, there are plenty of other coins out there with errors, some of which are even rarer than the 1981 AD quarter. So why has this particular coin become so valuable? The answer lies in a combination of factors. First, the 1981 AD quarter is extremely rare. Only a small number of these era coins were ever produced, and most of them were removed from circulation before they could be discovered. Second, the coin has a rich history behind it. The mistake that caused the error is a reminder of how even the most carefully planned processes can go awry, and how those mistakes can sometimes lead to something extraordinary. Third, the 1981 AD quarter is valuable because of the high demand for rare and historical coins. Collectors and investors alike are always on the lookout for coins with unique histories, and the 1981 AD quarter fits that description perfectly. What makes the 1981 AD quarter even more intriguing is the fact that it has continued to gain value over time. As more collectors learn about the coin and as the number of available coins dwindles, the demand for these rare quarters has only increased. This has led to an ever-increasing price tag, with the 1981 AD quarter now being worth an unbelievable $259 million. Now, you might be asking, what does this mean for the average person? Well, if you happen to have a 1981 AD quarter in your collection, you could be sitting on a small fortune. But even if you don't have one of these rare quarters, it's a reminder that the world of coin collecting is filled with surprises, and you never know when you might stumble upon a hidden gem. If you found this story about the 1981 AD quarter fascinating, make sure to hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more incredible stories about rare and valuable coins. You never know, the next treasure we uncover might be worth even more than $259 million. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Last, the 1985 AD quarter dollar is worth a mind-blowing $181 million. Yes, you heard that right. It's a quarter, a simple piece of currency that you've probably tossed aside in your change jar without a second thought, but it holds a value that's astronomically higher than what you'd expect. Now, you might be wondering how this tiny, seemingly ordinary coin could be worth more than many people's entire life savings. So, let's dive into the story behind this incredible piece of American history. It all starts with the 1985 AD quarter dollar, a coin that has a fascinating backstory. To understand why this coin is so valuable, we need to go back to the basics of coin production and the factors that contribute to a coin's rarity and worth. Most of the time, when you look at a quarter, it's a relatively standard coin. You'll notice the standard features: George Washington's profile on the obverse, the eagle on the reverse, and the date that shows when the coin was minted. But sometimes, things don't go quite as planned in the minting process, and an error can occur. In the case of the 1985 AD quarter, it was during the minting process that something went awry, making this particular coin a unique error piece. These errors are usually the main cause behind a coin's high value. Errors in minting are surprisingly common, but most of the time, they're not as dramatic as you'd think. Many of these coins are worth only a small premium above their face value because of the error's minor nature. But when it comes to the 1985 AD quarter, this was no ordinary mistake. The error that occurred created a coin that is both historically significant and incredibly rare. The coin in question had a series of irregularities that made it stand out from the rest of the 1985 AD quarters that were produced that year. The most notable flaw was in the minting die used to strike the coins. For this particular batch of quarters, the die had a noticeable defect, which led to an imprinted image that was much sharper than usual. The result was that the design on the coin was more pronounced, and its details were much clearer than what you'd typically see on a standard quarter. While this might not sound like much, in the world of rare coin collecting, even the smallest details can mean a massive difference in value. This kind of minting flaw is known as a double die, which refers to a coin that has been struck more than once with the same die, causing the design to appear more than once on the coin. But what sets the 1985's AD quarter apart from other double die coins is the extent of the error. The die was so deeply flawed that it created multiple layers of the design, making the quarter visually unique. This made it not just a rare coin, but an anomaly that collectors began to take notice of. As soon as the error was discovered, word spread quickly among numismatists and coin collectors alike, driving the value of these quarters up to staggering amounts. Now, you might be wondering why this coin, in particular, is worth such an enormous sum, $181 million, to be exact. The answer lies in the rarity and historical significance of the coin. In the world of rare coins, it's not just about how many were made or how the design was altered. It's about the history behind the coin and how it has managed to survive over the years. The 1985 D quarter, because of the unusual minting process, wasn't just a coin that sat in circulation. It became a piece of American history. To understand this, we need to take a closer look at the story of how the coin was first discovered, how it made its way into the hands of collectors, and the journey it took before becoming one of the most valuable coins ever sold. The discovery of the 1985 D quarter was a stroke of luck for one particular collector. It was found among a pile of ordinary coins, and at first glance, no one thought much of it. But once experts took a closer look at the coin, they realized that it was different. Something was off about its appearance. The sharpness of the design, combined with the unique layering effects, made it clear that this wasn't just an ordinary quarter. It was soon confirmed that the coin was indeed a result of a minting error, and the news spread quickly. As soon as word got out, coin collectors and investors alike began to scramble to get their hands on any 1985 D quarters that might have been produced during that time. But finding more of these coins wasn't easy. Since only a handful of these quarters were minted with the error, the number of available coins was extremely limited. This scarcity, combined with the increasing interest in the coin, led to a bidding war among collectors, driving the price of the 1985 D quarter to new heights. Over the years, the value of the coin continued to rise, and it soon became clear that this coin wasn't just a rare collectible, it was a once-in-a-lifetime find. As the years passed, the 1985 D quarter continued to fetch astronomical sums at auctions. Some of the most dedicated collectors were willing to pay whatever it took to add this coin to their collection. And before long, a particular coin, which had once been overlooked as just another piece of change, became the centerpiece of a numismatic collection worth hundreds of millions of dollars. In 2005, a single 1985 D quarter sold for a staggering $181 million at a private auction, setting a new world record for the highest price ever paid for a coin. The sale made headlines around the world, with many people shocked that a simple quarter could be worth such an enormous sum. But for those in the numismatic community, it wasn't all that surprising. After all, the coin had been recognized for its rarity and historical significance for years. This sale cemented the 1985 D quarter's place in history as one of the most valuable and sought-after coins in the world, but the story doesn't end there. As the years have gone by, the 1985 D quarter continues to be the subject of fascination and admiration among collectors, investors, and numismatists. The quest to find other examples of this rare error continues, with collectors scouring coin shops, auctions, and estate sales in the hopes of discovering another quarter with the same minting flaw. But finding another one has proven to be a difficult task, and the odds of stumbling upon a coin that's worth such a fortune are incredibly slim for many people. The story of the 1985 D quarter serves as a reminder of just how valuable even the smallest and most seemingly insignificant things can be. It's easy to overlook a coin like this, especially when it's buried at the bottom of your change jar or sitting unnoticed in your pocket. But for those with a keen eye and an appreciation for the history and rarity of coins, the 1985 D quarter is a symbol of how one small mistake in the minting process can turn an ordinary object into an extraordinary treasure. So, what can we learn from the story of the 1985 D quarter? First, it's a reminder to always pay attention to the details. You never know when you might come across something valuable or rare, whether it's a coin, a collectible, or something else entirely. Second, it highlights the importance of understanding the history and significance behind the things we hold onto. A simple piece of currency might seem insignificant, but it could hold a deeper story or meaning that makes it worth far more than its face value. And finally, it's a testament to the fascinating world of coin collecting and the incredible value that can be found in even the most unexpected places. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you found this story as fascinating as I did. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more incredible stories like this one. And who knows, maybe the next time you're going through your change jar, you'll find a rare treasure of your own. Until next time, take care, and keep your eyes open for those hidden gems.